This is Fourth Time Around, Episode 8. Hi, everyone. This is Joe.
And Lisa.
And welcome to our Christmas edition.
How about that? It sounds like rock music, and then it's
This is very cool.
actually Silent Night.
That was very cool. That's a guy by the name of Charlie Crow, who also happens to be the lead guitarist for Brooks and Dunn, for those of you who are country music fans.
Well, I think that's more than it happens to be.
How about it? Okay, he really is. He's the lead guitarist
No, that's
for...
fine. I'll stop editing you.
No, it's okay. He's the lead singer, or the lead singer, he's the lead guitarist for Brooks and Dunn. And that was a song called Not So Silent Night, which we downloaded from the PodSafe Music Network at music.podshow.com. He does have a website he has a homepage at mac.com, which we will put on the link. It's sort of a long thing, so I'm not going to read it off here because I wouldn't want the people who are driving, for example, and listening to this, like reaching the glove compartment and then like, whoa!
Try to rewind to hear it over. Okay, that was www.
No, HTTP : Do you remember in the early days of the web when they would like try to describe what web pages were and they'd say, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to do HTTP www.
Yeah, I do.
See now, and I would yell at the radio and say, no, just say bestbuy.com. That's all you have to say.
They still say www sometimes, and some people tried triple W, like to slim it down.
You know what always bugged me even more was when people would say dub.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
If you have to say the W part, then it doesn't matter. You can't get on the internet anyway.
You shouldn't be behind a keyboard. The other thing about Charlie Crow is that he does a version of Jesu, Joy of Man's Desire. He actually does the arrangement that was popularized by Apollo 100 back in 1972, one of the very first 45s I owned.
I wouldn't remember.
I know. One of the very first 45s. And he does the same arrangement that they did, only in more of a modern country rock kind of thing.
It's really very good. And if you're like me, and everyone wants to be like me, you are sick of, I'm sure every radio market has a holiday light type station.
Yeah, they're the holiday only music station.
Where your easy listening station or your soft rock station starts playing all holiday music all the time, starting like before Thanksgiving.
Right.
Which would be fine, except that they only have a catalog of like about 150 holiday songs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're ready to kill someone if you hear Santa Baby again because somebody thought it would be good to play it at work and it was fun for about an hour and then you'd heard everything. And so that was enough. Thanks very much.
The guys I really feel sorry for are the guys at the Subway. The Subway on Campbell Street. Campbell and Wilkie in Arlington
Shameless
Heights.
plug here. It's the best Subway ever.
Those poor guys, I'm waiting for their heads to explode. They're very good-natured people in there, but it's sort of like they're gonna snap one day, and there's gonna be hearty Italian splattered all over the wall or something.
When one of them started singing Feliz Navidad yesterday,
these are Indian gentlemen as well. You don't quite get the effect.
They are. Feliz Navidad
Feliz
is not
Navidad.
like a childhood memory of theirs.
Oh, it's hilarious. And they're great people there, and they get lots and lots and lots of our money every week.
Yes, they do.
So why don't I look like Jared? I think I look better than Jared, actually.
You look so much. I'll
As a
tell you
matter
why
of
you
fact.
don't look like Jared.
Why, Lisa?
Because I can see your beautiful eyes.
Aw,
They're no
thank you.
longer hiding behind glasses.
That's true. I now officially I've been told that as of this past Saturday morning, I have 20/15 vision. Lisa and I went downtown Chicago. we went shopping, and we had this, at this hotel we stayed at, there was this panoramic view in the windows.
We had a corner room.
It was a corner room.
It was awesome.
At this corner room, and it was great because one window overlooked Navy Pier and all the way down south to the park, which we refer to as Crosswalks to Nowhere.
That's another story.
Which is another story. And then it looked all the way to the west.
Unless you're Liz and Bob, and then you already know the story.
That's right. They've seen the videotape. There is a film.
Okay. Check off our Liz and Bob plug.
Okay, good. We're done with that. And then going to the west, all the way over to like the Merchandise Mart. In fact, on my weblog, I posted a picture that I took of the Wrigley Building, which is really cool. So by the time my eyes cleared up on Saturday night, it was like a movie almost. It was like a CinemaScope movie where everything was in focus. It was like,
right,
wow.
You've never had that,
except when I had contact lenses.
Oh, that's true.
But anyway, so since I was in first grade, I've worn glasses, and no more. So now, as I've said many times before I had this procedure done, every single person I've spoken to has referred to LASIK as a life-changing thing. And I can honestly say it was. I'm on day 5, and it was completely life-changing.
I just have to say here, I've never dated a guy with vision better than my own. I'm 20/20.
Are you speaking figuratively or literally?
I'm speaking literally.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe figuratively I had a better vision.
I never even thought about it figuratively.
Right.
But I have 20/20 vision, maybe a little better in one eye. Mm-hmm. And now your vision is better than mine. And I'm really kind of TO'd.
Okay, Kip.
I really don't know how to feel about that.
She's Kip. Kip Dynamite. I'm really just kind of TO'd, you know?
Although you'll probably need reading glasses before I do.
Actually, I probably will. But anyway, it was pretty cool. So I had Lisa took very good care of me. I had the procedure.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the? I mean, this is interesting stuff. If you're thinking about getting LASIK, and tons of people are.
What we should do, I mean, we can describe it. I don't want to like get the squeamish people in the audience like tuning out.
Oh.
But here, I'll tell you what the cool thing is. We go in there. The
cool thing is they give you Valium.
We go in there.
Sorry.
My procedure is at 2:00 on a Friday afternoon. So I took the day off of work. They take the final measurements and whatnot, and I finally meet the doctor who's going to be doing this. Mm-hmm. And he's a pretty decent guy. He's joking around and everything like that.
He's a great guy.
He was really nice. He was recommended by my ophthalmologist. So he's like, oh, yeah, this is the guy who did my eyes. It's like, okay, well, you can't get a much higher recommendation than that if your ophthalmologist recommends another guy to do the LASIK.
Right.
So we go in there. They do some final measurements on me. They give me a Valium.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Then we go and we sit in the blue room or the relaxation room, which has one of those wall-mounted waterfall things. And sure enough, they had a huge one in this little relaxation room. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And we go in there, and I'm taking the Valium, and we're sitting there. And so we're just sitting there talking, waiting for the thing to kick in. And it's like, oh, yeah, And suddenly I just, this nice little warm wave. It didn't weird me out or anything like that.
No, you weren't
I was
goofy.
just,
like
it was
if
just,
you...
Well, I wasn't goofy until the one thing the doctor said before I had the procedure. He said, all right, the one thing that you cannot do is you cannot touch your face between the top of your head and the bottom of your nose and from ear to ear. You can't, for 1 week, you cannot touch your face. You can't wash it. You can't
brush away an eyelash.
Can't brush it. Can't do anything. We don't want you touching anywhere on your face right there. So it's like, okay, well, I can deal with that. For showering, you can stick your face under the shower and close your eyes and let everything wash off your face. And then
no soap, no makeup.
No soap, right. So, yeah, so I got to give up the makeup, too.
Oh, well.
So, and then blow dry your face.
Which is really something to see.
Check me out. I'm pretending I'm Speed Racer.
Joe's blow drying his chest hair.
Check me out. Hey, I look pretty good. Where was I going? Oh, so we're sitting there in the room, and then I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to get this out of my system. And I start taking my fingers and rubbing them all over my face, like tapping my fingers on my face. And the doctor is out in the hallway, and he looks and he goes, hey, stop that. You can't do that. And I think at that point he realized, okay, this guy's ready to go into the laser.
Here's a grown man.
Sitting there touching his face. Look, I'm doing this because I can. So he takes...
And it was just like that. You're like, ooh, look at me.
So he takes me into the laser room. And it was weird because it was almost like being in an operating room, except I wasn't naked underneath a paper gown.
Right. You had a little hair net thing on.
Yeah, a little hair net thing. And then I walked in, and just like if you've ever walked into an operating room, if you've ever gone into an operating room, they're always very, very cold.
Oh.
And that laser room was very cold. Now, this happens to be as we pointed out before, this is in sort of in a public area. Or it's in an area which has a lot of it's in a mall. That will say that much. And you have the choice as a patient of having the curtains open or closed and having the monitors on or off while they're doing the procedure. And Lisa couldn't go in the operating room with me, so
Joe went exhibitionist.
So I went exhibitionist, which means that not only Lisa but anyone else who was walking by. Well, wait, but can they see in the laser room?
It was really only people who would be in the waiting room.
Okay, so it's not like people walking into Marshall Fields with their Mrs. Fields cookie and.
No, because really that would be a disturbing thing to broadcast into the mall.
Hey, look at this guy.
They have edited videos that they show kind of on a rolling basis. To watch the thing live is a little bit more intense than
the prepared
any
clips they have.
Right.
So Lisa was in the waiting area watching this, and they were, the doctor's very good. He's talking me through the whole thing, and he's saying, okay, here's what I'm doing now. And, I won't go into the details of what they do, but it was not painful, and it wasn't really, I wouldn't even say it was uncomfortable, but it was just weird. If you've ever had stitches, or even if you've had dental work done, you can always kind of detach yourself. You can close your eyes and sort of detach and say, okay, well, they're going to do whatever to my arm, and that's just my arm, but I'm over here somewhere looking at something.
Because you weren't feeling any pain.
No, but the thing is that with your eyes, it's like it's your eyes.
Right. So, you can't close your eyes and go to a happy place.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So they give you a teddy bear. I was laughing because the girl hands me a teddy bear before I lay down, and I said, "Oh, a teddy bear, huh? That's cute." And the doctor said, "No, you're going to hold on to that teddy bear because your first instinct when I put this on you is to help me, to reach up and help me. So when you have the urge, squeeze the teddy bear." So I squeezed the teddy bear.
Did you have the urge? Did you want to reach up?
I did. It's a natural reflex. If someone comes after your eyes with something, you have an urge to kind of block it or whatever.
Wow.
And so they do the procedure, and the entire procedure for both eyes took like 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it wasn't painful or anything. They just did it, and it was a weird experience because your job as the patient is just to follow the red light. Follow the red light. Keep your eye on the red light, and they talk you through it. So they did the whole thing with the lasers on my eye, and then when it was all done, he said, "That's it." And then they pulled the machine away, and then they turned me. You're kind of in like a dentist chair that reclines. I turn, and I sat up, and the doctor says, "Welcome to your new world. Take a look at your girlfriend." And they turned me, and there was Lisa sitting there with a big smile on her face through the glass. I went, "I can see you."
Right, and normally I just would have been a blob.
That's right. But you were in. Well, you were in focus. The weird thing is that you were in focus, but I can only describe this, and the people who probably would be able to appreciate this would be people who wear contact lenses, is that it was like looking at you through dirty contacts. You were in focus, but there was like a haze around you. Mm-hmm. So, so that was pretty cool. So then we came home. I went to bed. I slept for a while. Lisa ordered a pizza. I woke up later. We sat there. We were sitting in my living room with the Christmas tree on, no other lights on. I had sunglasses on, and we were eating pizza like a rock star, like a combination of hef and a rock star.
Right, in your pajamas and sunglasses.
And I have these really cool spaceman spiff goggles I got to wear when I sleep at night, so I don't like whack myself in the face.
Right. Good thinking.
So thumbs up on the Lasik. We have to give some acknowledgments to some other podcasts that are out there.
Okay.
Thank you to Aaron and Jenny of The Big Show. First of all, they gave us some props and got us featured on the Podcast Outlaws site, which is very cool. And we got some listeners based on that.
Yay.
Also, we want to say hi to Charlie and Carol from Israelisms. They live in Israel.
Hi.
Hi. And they formerly lived in...
Hello, Israel.
Charlie and Carol wrote to us and said they liked the show, and we downloaded their show, and their show is really cool. The cool thing about those guys is that they used to live in Elk Grove Village, where I lived for a while, and they lived in Arlington Heights as well, which is where we live now, here in the suburbs of Chicago. And in fact, on the Christmas edition of The Big Show, Charlie and Carol talk about what they used to do and how they used to go over to the Woodfield Mall and hassle customers there because they don't celebrate Christmas. It was kind of cool. It's kind of funny. And
it sure is fun to tease the people who
do. Sure is fun to hassle the Gentiles, let me tell you. I was married to a Jewish lady for a while.
A Jewish lady.
And so I learned lots of things. And the one thing that they talked about was about how Jewish people go to movies on Christmas Day, which is absolutely true. I've seen lots of movies when I was married. I saw lots of movies on Christmas Day.
It's a great idea.
It
Even
is.
for Gentiles. It works for anybody.
They'll
let everybody in that day.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's not like they check your card.
You know, the thing is on Christmas, unless you have little kids who have toys to play with all day, by about noon, you're done with presents, and you're starting to get a little cabin fever. You certainly don't want to go shop because you're sick of that.
Exactly.
And everything's closed, but the movie theaters are open. It's really a great day. Mm-hmm. Well, hence, a lot of good movies open on Christmas Day.
I saw the movie My Favorite Year on Christmas Day.
It's Stepmom on Christmas Day.
Well, see, there you go. A happy little movie, Stepmom.
Warmed my heart.
What's happening? She's going to die. Oh,
that
okay.
was years and years before I thought I would ever be a stepmom.
I mentioned Aaron and Jenny's Christmas podcast, which I've said this. Lisa totally like hammered herself with.
The thing about the sippy cup lids is you try to get that last dribble out, and you have to go all the way vertical to get it out.
That's true, but there's a knack. There's a knack to doing it with the Starbucks cup.
There's a knack.
Lisa's from Seattle. She should know this, and she doesn't.
Why don't you tell the good folks at home what the trick is while I go get a paper towel?
Okay, the trick is that you have something that we call coordination.
No.
I want to talk about the big show.
Poke you in the eye myself.
This is one of the best ones I've heard. What Aaron and Jenny did was, under the guise of win big prizes or win prizes, they said, send us your Christmas memories or your Christmas traditions, the memories of your best or worst Christmas or whatever, and send them to us, and then we'll feature them on our show. And so a tremendous hats off to Aaron and Jenny for that. It's a really cool show. I think it's time for us to go on
a cheap date. From time to time it happens that Joe owes me breakfast.
And since we were downtown...
And this is another place to go when you owe somebody breakfast.
Right.
Although
Chicago.
Actually it's not much of a romantic, sit and chat spot.
No, but you know what? It's an historic place. Can I say that?
Why do people say an historic?
An historic place. Because
I don't think that's necessary. Are you British?
Oh, okay, fine. It's...
Process?
Okay. No, I'm Canadian. Hey,
don't even start that.
Can we insult our friends at
Do you guys
ZNZ
say
again?
an historic?
Yeah, we'd like to know.
I'm willing to bet anything that they don't.
That's right. And by the way, for Ross and Karen, we don't always talk about food, do we? We did talk about Starbucks.
We talk about food. I mean, really, that's the real reason we're doing this.
We went, since we were downtown Chicago over the weekend, on Sunday morning, we went to the beginning of historic Route 66 to Lou Mitchell's restaurant.
Canada, weigh in. Route. Go ahead.
Okay.
Rut.
We went to Lou Mitchell's restaurant. Been there since 1923.
Wow.
It's
right in that same spot?
In that same location, I believe.
Wow.
It's on Jackson Boulevard. It's on Jackson Boulevard right across the street from Union Station, which doesn't mean anything to those of you who aren't in Chicago, but it is a truly historic location. When you walk in there, the women get milk duds, and the one thing I was talking to the guys,
only the women,
only the women get little tiny Halloween boxes of milk duds.
Which is the last thing you need at 8 a.m.
It's true. The other thing is, and one of the guys at work mentioned this, and I totally forgot about this, but they're supposed to have donut holes as well. I could smell the donut holes baking.
I saw that on the menu or something.
But we did not get donut holes. The thing about Lou Mitchell's is that it's a big restaurant. You do get booze, and some sites on the internet will tell you to wait for a booth, but if there are 2 of you or 4 or whatever, sometimes they'll sit you at big long tables where you're sitting right next to cafeteria tables, and you sit across from each other.
It's not a bench; you get a seat.
Right, but you sit across from each other, and then you're usually sitting next to strangers, which some people might be put off by that. I just took it as...
You know, at first I thought it was weird, but after a while, the people next to us weren't really paying any attention to us, and we weren't paying any attention to them.
Right. They're just kind of all doing everyone does their own thing, and...
We're kind of spoiled by having so much personal space around us all the time.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the food.
The key here
is
milk
that... The milk duds were chewy and chocolatey and delicious.
They were sublime.
I shared mine with a man. Is that cheating?
I don't know.
If you give your date a milk dud?
I don't know. Sublime milk duds.
We just lost our PG rating.
There you go. Every egg dish there is made with a double yolk egg. I had very simple. I went very simple. I had a cheddar cheese omelet, and it was
the size of your head.
Freaking amazing. Everything is served not in skillets, but they're served in like little pans, right? Mm-hmm. They're like little saucepans that they're served in, and
they're kind of like deep skillets,
right? But I had it was an omelet and potatoes, right? Hash browns, and then I had a side of bacon, and then I had Greek toast with that, the nice thick cut with the sesame seeds on it toasted. Oh. It was amazing. On the table, you get fresh marmalade and like a grape or some sort of jelly.
Jam. I think it was a berry, actually.
Some sort of berry jam, blackberry jam. That's what it was. And when you sit down, they give you a slice of orange and a prune.
I had never had a prune. It was very good.
Mm-hmm. So they do that. And it was very busy. And we, like I said, we were there on a Sunday morning, and it was very crowded. It was very busy. The food, of course, was amazing, and the service was great. Oh, and the orange juice, fresh squeezed. Mm-hmm. Pulp-free, but fresh squeezed.
Yes, very good.
It was delicious. And what did you have?
I also had an omelet. I had the mushroom special. It had mushroom, Swiss cheese, and I think onions, and maybe green pepper, too.
Mm-hmm.
I like veggie omelets in the morning, but I like cheese in them too, and it was amazing. Mm-hmm. Same thing in the skillet with potatoes and whole wheat toast. The whole wheat toast was like an inch thick.
Right. Oh, all the toast
as
is
was
like
the
an
Greek
inch thick.
toast. I mean, it's really. I seem to remember the menu being fairly basic. They had a good omelet selection for sure, but they didn't have the 4-page menu that
like Eclectic
does.
Right.
A really well-rounded breakfast menu, I thought, and everything just real fresh ingredients, good cheese. Good cheese makes an omelet.
Yes.
I mean, there's a big difference between a Swiss cheese or a cheddar cheese omelet with real cheese and an omelet with Kraft singles in it.
Right.
And there's a time and place for either.
But yeah, you're right.
But this is the good stuff.
And the neat thing is that when you walk in there, it is like going back in time. If you are in Chicago, and you are in downtown Chicago, and for those of you who might be visiting the city, and if you stay downtown, you would do well to head over to Lou Mitchell's. This is the sort of thing that when you go... This is the sort of place that Rachel Ray would go. And as a matter of fact, if she went to Chicago, if she did her $30 a day, of course she
$40
she could probably blow it mostly on breakfast, but Lou Mitchell's is not cheap. It doesn't really qualify a cheap date from the standpoint of being cheap. It qualifies for the cheap date because we like it, and this is our segment, and it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want to do. That said,
you go, girl.
By the way, did you hear Oprah is considering no longer doing her My Favorite Things show?
You know what? I don't like the My Favorite Things show.
She realizes that
it's kind of just...
Here I am railing against the commerciality of Christmas, and there I am giving stuff away. It's like, I think that was on the front page of Duh magazine. Lou Mitchell's restaurant. If you're in Chicago, go there. You'll enjoy it. It's totally awesome.
Right. Good. Thanks. Okay.
This is the second Christmas that Lisa and I are spending together.
We have a dilemma. Here's our Christmas situation. Last year, we agreed on a gift that we wanted to get each other. We wanted to buy matching rings. Not expensive rings. We ended up, interestingly enough, at Marché Noir in Woodfield and bought 2 sterling and black rings that we didn't spend a lot of money on them. But they match, and we wear them on our right hands They're just couple rings.
Right. And so Lisa looks really adorable, and I look like a man in a committed gay relationship.
It's worth noting, I make Joe wear a ring on his right hand.
You don't make me wear it.
Which is not the sole reason that
Hear that? It's not on my finger now. Hear that?
Get that back on there. Get it on. Okay. Anyway, we were talking about Christmas. Last year, Joe and I bought each other rings. We picked them out together and bought them together. We also bought each other a few other things. So this year, we had done all our Christmas shopping for other people in our lives, and it came time to, honey, what should I buy you for Christmas? I shouldn't say buy. What should I give you for Christmas?
Right. So the dilemma is...
And we're faced with, what do we get each other for Christmas? So I want to throw this out and get some feedback with what other couples do. I mean, in a day and age where, Joe, neither of us goes longer than a week usually without buying something we need.
Right.
I kind of wish now I had waited on the toaster and you could have gotten me a really nice toaster instead of me buying myself a cheap one. But
you needed a toaster.
In general, yeah. I mean, it's November and you need a toaster. You can't just... So in a day and age when we pretty much buy whatever we need when we need it rather than waiting around for it, what do couples buy each other? Or is it a good option to just hold off on or not hold off, but I mean just skip the Christmas presents altogether, which sounds very Grinchy, but when you have kids and you have family in your life, you know, you have plenty of people to shop for, and there's plenty of holiday spirit going around. What I keep thinking is, we don't need to buy each other stuff. I don't need you to give me anything material. So, if there are ideas for... Well, this year what we came to was we decided to buy each other watches.
Right.
Because neither of us has a watch that we're wearing consistently.
So the question on the table to other people, to the people listening to this, is what? What do you do, or what would you do in that scenario? Or
what do you do about getting each other stuff for Christmas? Especially if you want to... I mean, you can only get somebody so much jewelry, and really, especially a guy, you can only buy so much jewelry. If you've come to the conclusion that you don't need to get each other anything material for Christmas, I'd like to hear about that. Because I think maybe that's where our hearts are leading us.
Right.
So
what does that mean? And you're like telling me this, and I'm like this, and I'm telling... Sorry.
Joe once again got a compliment on his pipes.
Mm-hmm. One of the guys I work with who heard it...
I think Joe should make a living reading romance novels onto CD.
Roughly, he grabbed her heaving shoulders. She looked him in the eye and said, "Ashley, take me to where no woman has gone before."
He ripped her bodice from her heaving chest.
He ripped her bodice from her heaving chest and said, "I can't get you into the YMCA, honey." I don't...
Oh,
I don't know. "I can't get you into the World Series of Poker, honey." Ooh, now all the Annie Duke fans will get mad at me for that one. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
No,
he's
he's totally serious. Let him have it. Let him have it.
It's a joke. So anyway, okay, I think we're done.
We got to wrap it up. Yeah.
We do have to wrap it up. We're going to close up with a song, and it's actually sort of a companion piece to the piece we opened up with.
That's right. I didn't even realize that.
We are going to close with Silent Night, as performed by a personal friend of mine, a singer by the name of Annie Haslam, who was, for many years, the lead singer of the band Renaissance, the progressive rock band Renaissance. She's had a solo career for many years now. I was the webmaster on her website for a while, and also in one of my other lives, I run the Northern Lights website, which is a fan site dedicated to the band Renaissance. Annie recorded a Christmas album back in 2000, and she did a whole bunch of Christmas songs, and this, I think, is one of the best ones on the album. So I talked to her and said, "How would you feel about our doing this on the podcast?" And she's all for it. She says it's...
Annie's a very generous spirit that way.
She very much is. And so I do have her written permission to play this on our show. So
thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Annie. I'm very honored that she agreed to let us do this. So anyway, this is Annie Haslam and Silent Night. You can find this on her website, which is anniehaslam.com. Anything else to say? We want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Of course. We'll be podcasting probably between Christmas and New Year's. We're not planning to take a break.
Correct. And once again, thanks to everyone who's left comments on our weblog and who's dropped us email.
Thanks for making us feel like a part of things.
Right. Thanks for all your support. And everyone have a great, wonderful Christmas, however you're celebrating it. If it's having the family over for big turkey dinner or going to a movie or sitting watching A Christmas Story for 24 hours straight on TBS. Okay, so I think that's going to be about it. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Good night.